another reading for Goddess of Like, comment, subscribe. Oh my god. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Lauren and this is Lauren's Library. Today we're going to be going over what I read in the month of April. First off, I started off with Fredrik Backman's Anxious People. This follows people who were involved in a bank robbery gone wrong. The bank robber ends up failing, robbing this bank, and holding these people hostage in an apartment building near the bank. And all of these people are being held hostage, so we follow along as the police try to get down to and interviewing these people and trying to get down to the nitty-gritty of who was the bank robber. And so we're just following all of these people's perspectives and seeing what's going on. It's kind of like a mystery. You're trying to figure out who the bank robber is, along with the police officers, and it's trying to see what the details are and the missing pieces. But at the end, it's kind of just like a heartwarming story of like people who are put into this terrible situation or awkward situation, and seeing how they come together and persevere through the situation and how they come out in the end. How I felt about this one, I gave it 3 stars, and that's mainly because the characters didn't feel real to me. I know that's rich coming from somebody who reads fantasy, but the characters just felt too cartoonish to me. I don't know if that was kind of the purpose, because they did feel more human towards the end, but at that point I was kind of checked out to care enough, because they just felt ridiculous in the beginning where I just didn't care in the end, if that makes sense. But I gave it 3 stars. This is my first Fredrik Backman, but I probably would read another one from him. We'll see. But yeah, I gave this one 3 stars. Next, I read the second book in the Beasts of Prey series by Ayana Gray, and that is Beasts of Ruin. And this one, our 2 main characters, Ekon and Kofi, are separated. Kofi is kind of in this magical like training school for Doraji. I'm pretty sure those are the magical people in this world. It's not on here. And then Ekon is on his way to go look for her, along with her, I don't want to spoil it, but with a companion that we get introduced to at the end of the first book. If you're unsure of what this series is about, Beasts of Prey follows 2 characters from 2 different worlds who have to end up coming together to hunt down this magical creature that is killing random people in their village. And it's just it's been a terror for years and years, but they each have different plans on what to do once they finally catch it, but they're keeping that secret from each other. And then the story continues in this book, and I really enjoyed this one. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed the dynamic of each of their different locations. I enjoyed where we're going. I'm looking forward to where we're going next in the final book. And I enjoyed some of the characters that we meet and are introduced to in this one, because they're also and I also enjoyed I just remembered I also enjoyed like the B plot that's kind of like a backstory on Kofi's mom and her grandmother, and seeing where how they ended up in the situation they were in the first book. I enjoyed that kind of like subplot where we just get a bit more context. So yeah, I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars, and I can't wait to read the final book. And that's called Beasts of War, I believe. It's somewhere around here, but yeah, I'm going to be reading that soon. Next, I have a graphic novel and it's called Bunt by Ngozi Ukase and Mad Rupert. This one follows our main character Molly, who is a freshman in college, and she's signing up or checking in for orientation when she finds out that her financial aid has fallen through and she has to find another way to pay for college. And that's when she scours all the handbooks and scholarship manuals, or scholarship, what do you call them? Scholarship books, like, I can't think of the word, but the place where you go and find all the different scholarships. And she finds a loophole to one of the scholarships where if she creates a team at school and they win at least one game throughout their entire season, everybody on that team gets their tuition paid in full. So that is her goal, is to put together a softball team. She hangs up flyers around campus to get people to sign up for her softball team, and they train and get to know each other and become this huge big family while also trying to get their tuition paid. Well, everyone on the team is there for different reasons, and it's fun, like, learning all of these characters' backstories and exactly why they joined the softball team. But our main focus is to win at least one game, so we get our tuition paid. And this was fun. I don't think there's going to be a second one, but I would enjoy a second one just to see where all of our characters are going, but I don't think that's going to happen. But how this one wrapped up. But this was a fun one. I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. So yeah, not much I can say about that one. It's a graphic novel. Next, I have the first DNF of the month of April, and that was House of Marion by JL. Now, I read Wings of Ebony by JL last year, and I should have learned my lesson then and not pick this book up this year. Her writing just doesn't mesh well with me. I just don't get it. I just can't focus on it and see where she's going, not where she's going, but what she's trying to say, and enjoy it. It just feels very clunky to me and not clear. I don't know, we just don't work well together, and this will be my last JL book I purchase. If I do pick up one of her books, it'll probably be on audiobook. But yeah, this was a DNF. This one follows a girl who, her and her mother are constantly on the run because she has a magic that is dark or forbidden, and there are people who are looking for her, but something happens where she ends up having to, like, hide in plain sight in order to kind of learn the right type of magic, in order to kind of hide and tamper down her dark magic. Doesn't that sound so much fun? But it just didn't work for me, and that's why I picked it up, because it sounded so much fun. I was like, maybe this one will work for me, but it didn't, and I didn't want to continue and push through like I did for Wings of Ebony and then end up in like a reading slump and just not have fun while reading it, so I just decided to put it down. But yeah, this was a DNF for me. Next I read Did You Hear About Kitty Karr by Crystal Smith Paul. This one follows 2 timelines. First, Kitty Karr is a famous Hollywood actress who has recently passed, and she left all of her money and all of her assets to 3 black sisters who I forget how they said they were related. No, not how like they said their grandmother was friends with Kitty Karr, something like that. So Kitty Karr ends up leaving all of her money to these sisters, and everybody in Hollywood and in the tabloids, they're like, why is she doing this? Well, they don't need the money because all of them they come from Hollywood. Their mother is a Hollywood actress. Their father is a famous musician, so they're like, why would she leave them all this money when they already have money? What was the reason? So that's when we delve into the world of Kitty Karr, while also bouncing back to the present day with Elise and her 2 sisters, and see what's going on surrounding like Kitty Karr's memorial and paparazzi trying to figure out exactly why they were left all this money. I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. This one got more interesting as you read on. I definitely enjoyed the stories told from the past more than the present. While reading this, I would kind of like not want to continue reading once we jump back into the present, because it just wasn't as interesting. Yeah, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and this is definitely one that I would reread to go back and pick up any, because you see like when you jump into the present, they mention names that I'm pretty sure were mentioned in the past that I probably missed. But once I reread it, I'm like, oh, that's this person in the present that we meet already in this past section of the book. So yeah, this one I feel like would be a fun reread to see exactly what was missed and all the little breadcrumbs that were left in order to make the puzzle complete. But yeah, 4 out of 5 stars, and I would definitely read from Crystal Smith Paul again. This is my first time. I think this is her debut. I could just be ignorant and saying this is her debut just because I haven't heard of her before, but I'll look into that because I would want to read more from her. I enjoyed this one. Next, I read In Our Shoes on Being a Young Black Woman in Not So Post-Racial America by Brianna Holt. This is a nonfiction novel that has tales from Miss Holt's perspective of being a young black woman in America, and also people she's interviewed for this book and their stories as well. This was very informative. I wouldn't say it would be informative if I had read this like in high school or like freshman year of college. There's something in my eye. This would have been very like eye-opening, not eye-opening, what's the word I'm looking for, like relatable back then. But I feel like it's stuff that I've already, like I'm older now, so it's stuff I've heard and stuff I've learned in college, and know that this is our experience being black women in America. So it's like yeah, I've heard this all before, it's nothing new, but I understand and I appreciate how helpful it would be to someone who is growing up, young black, well, I guess I'm still young, but someone younger than me, someone in high school, middle school, as a handbook to them. And I think that's why I see its purpose. So I didn't rate this one, but I understand and I appreciate its purpose. So yeah. Next I read This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. This is the second book in the Skyland series, I think it's what it's called. The first book is, do I have it? Where is it? I know it's on this shelf somewhere. Oh, I see it, but it's right here. You can't see it, but it's right there. But Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan is the first book in the series. But this is the second one. We're following the main character from Before I Let Go, Yasmin. This is Soledad, her best friend. So Soledad is a stay-at-home mom who is having a rough go in her marriage. Her husband is always at work. He whispers his secretary's name in his sleep, and she's just kind of off-put by that. Let me see exactly, because I'm not sure what is a spoiler. It doesn't say exactly what happens. So something happens with her husband where she now has to fend for herself. She has to make sure her daughters can stay enrolled in private school, while also being able to pay for groceries and stay in their home. And kind of the catalyst, I could say, to what the situation that her husband is in, or what happened with her husband. Judah Cross, he is her, I don't know what to say to not spoil it, but Judah Cross is her love interest in this book, and he is raising 2 autistic sons, twins, and he is also recently divorced. And But this book is more, I feel like, another romance than Before I Let Go, because this one is more about self-discovery and standing on one's own and things like that. I don't want to spoil it because I feel like going into this without knowing what's gonna happen would be more fun, so I don't want to tell any details. But I feel like, I don't know, I haven't seen anybody else talk about it, so I don't know if people are saying what happens between Soledad and her husband, so I'm unsure of what to say because I don't want to ruin it for anybody else because it was fun for me not knowing what happens. So yeah, but Soledad is just discovering herself. She's created this kind of movement with her and her, because she has kind of like a social media following where it's called like Dating Myself, hashtag Dating Myself, and it's more about that, I feel like, than the romance, than anything. Before I Let Go was like, I feel like, purely romance with some like life stuff going on, but this one I feel like it's more the self-discovery is the A plot while the romance is the B plot, you know? But yeah, I enjoyed this one. Not as much as Before I Let Go, but my main thing is that Soledad felt like a different character. I don't know if it's because in Yasmin's perspective and Before I Let Go, we're seeing how she sees Soledad. But Soledad, I don't know if I'm just remembering incorrectly, but she didn't feel like the same character in this book, which wasn't a problem, but just an observation. But I didn't enjoy this one as much. I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as Before I Let Go. So I gave it this one a 4 out of 5 stars. All right. Next, we have, unfortunately, another DNF, and that is The Eternal Ones by Namina Forna. Yes. This is the third and final book in the Gilded Ones series. I did a reading vlog, I think, to the first book. I don't know if I did one to the second one, but I enjoyed the first one. This is another one of I should have known better. But I enjoyed the first one. I think I gave the first one a 4 out of 5 stars. The second one, I was a bit disappointed. Gave that one a 3 out of 5 stars. And at the end of this, finishing the second one, I wasn't looking forward to this one. But I pre-ordered it and I got it because I was like, I just need to finish the series, knowing that I wasn't excited about continuing on in the series because I wasn't excited about where the story was going. And so I shouldn't have, I don't know if y'all heard that, but that thunder was loud. But I wasn't excited about picking it up and finishing the series. So the series can just stop for me at the second book. If you're unaware of the Gilded Ones, I keep doing that, just assuming you know what the series is about. But the Gilded Ones follows, it's a fantasy world where these villages have a ceremony where they test girls' blood, and if their blood runs red, then they're okay, they're pure. But if their blood runs gold, they're usually put to death, tortured, yada yada. So our main character, I can't even think of her name, Decca, her blood turns gold, but she is rescued by this woman named, I can't even remember the character's name, y'all. It's something Hands. It's something Hands, like it's a Hands name. She's rescued by this lady who takes her to a training camp with all these other girls whose blood runs gold. And they're kind of trained to fight these creatures that are kind of terrorizing the world that they live in. Oh my goodness. But after the second book, I just wasn't looking forward to where the series was going and wasn't as excited about this book. But it felt like I needed to purchase it out of obligation and read it out of obligation, when you can do what you want. You don't have to read anything, you know? So yeah, I was just not enjoying this, and the main character, I was starting to dislike her, and I didn't want that to happen. So I was just like, you know what, the series ends for me at book 2. You know, so I did not finish this one. And lastly, for the month of April, I read Secret of the Moon Conch by David Bowles and Guadalupe Garcia McCall. This one was fun. This one follows Satali and Kolitsa. And Satali, she lives in our modern day, but I think it's 2019 in this book. And Calypso is in the 1500s. I don't know the exact date. Let me see. 1521. And they each find this magic conch. Well, they don't know it's magic when they find it, but eventually the powers of this conch unlock and they're able to communicate with each other using this magic conch, although they live in 2 different time periods. So Calypso, what makes this really interesting, Calypso lives at a time where the Spanish are invading the Tenochtitlan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I don't think I've ever been able to pronounce that word correctly. But the Spanish are, Cortez and his troops are invading Tenochtitlan. And Calypso is in the process with his comrades fighting them off and trying to keep their land from the Spanish. And obviously Satali is in the future, so she knows how this ends. And it was just very interesting. And obviously a romance ensues. And then they discover unlocking more powers of the magical conch than just being able to hear each other. Eventually they're able to see each other, and they discover that it depends on whatever phase the moon is in. They can even see and touch each other. It was very interesting. And the whole time I was reading it, honestly, I was thinking the Spanish, they don't get lashings enough for their what's the word? Their play in colonization. We always get the people from the UK, but Spain, y'all was doing a little too much too. I was you know how it's gonna end, but you just hope it's gonna this is a fantasy world, things are gonna change, but you know how it's gonna end. It's very sad watching everything take place. But Calypso is a fighter, he's a warrior. Satali is also facing her own trials and tribulations. She is her father left when she was very young to go to America. Her mom ends up getting really sick and passing, and so she's left in the care of her grandmother. But then her grandmother ends up passing and she's left all alone. And where she lives, I forget I think it's called Zaragoza. There is a lot of gang violence and gang stuff going on in her town. And one of the guys in this gang, he is trying to get her and be with her, but she doesn't want that. So she's conjured up this plan to make her way north towards the United States and find her father, and through way of her godmother, who is also in San Antonio, I believe. I don't remember if her dad was also in San Antonio. But while they're communicating, Calypso and Satali are communicating, Satali is making her way on foot towards the U.S. border, while Calypso is fighting off the Spanish. And it was just very interesting, very high plot, very high action, even though it's sad. Everything that's going on is really sad, but it's keeping you engaged, you know? So I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. I also got this one signed at the North Texas Teen Book Festival by both authors. Oh, and I also got Bunt signed as well. I'll probably have a video of that coming up soon. I just haven't filmed it yet, but it's coming soon. But I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars, and I was talking with them, and they said that they're planning on writing more together, including a vampire book that's coming soon. So I'm excited for this one because this was really good and very unique, and I enjoyed it. So those are all the books I read this month, for the month of April. I hope you all enjoyed. Have you read any of the books that I read this month? And what were your thoughts? what did you read this month? And let me know in the comments section down below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.